Hey there, are you looking to start a career in digital marketing? Well, I've got 8 reasons why this might be the perfect career choice for you. Stick around and let's find out what they are. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrew, aka That Digital Marketing Chap. And in today's video, we're going to talk about why, or more specifically, 8 reasons why digital marketing might be the right career for you. We're going to talk about some of the perks, some of the benefits, and some of the things you can do within your digital marketing career to really get the most out of it. So before we get started, I was wondering if you could do me a massive favor, hit the subscribe button, smash the like button so it helps with the YouTube algorithm, and also hit that little bell notification so the next time we release more of these videos, you'll be the first to know. Okay, cool. So now that's out of the way, let's start off with the first reason why I think digital marketing is such an awesome career. Okay, the first reason why I think digital marketing is such a great career choice is because you don't need a degree or any real formal training to get a job in the industry. So to give you some context on how I got started, I actually had tried a few different things, dabbled in a few different careers before I landed a role in digital marketing. So the first one was actually in, funny enough, traditional marketing, where I went to TAFE, which is kind of like community college in the US, where I was working and studying that part-time. And I found that marketing was quite boring. It wasn't really what I thought it would be. I thought it'd be more like advertising, more like dynamic and creative, but it wasn't like that at all. So then I actually studied accounting. And yeah, if I thought marketing was boring, well, accounting was a snooze fest. The third thing I did was, after doing all that, was going back and studying programming, and I did really enjoy that. And I did get a job in programming, and it was kind of cool, but I was working for clients. And again, as anyone will know who's ever had to work in an agency situation, especially when you have to work in a development or development house situation for clients, it's not the best. A lot of pressure, and I didn't really enjoy it that much. So I kind of wanted to go back and do something else. I was still in my early 20s. So I went and studied film and television. I'd always wanted to become like a screenwriter or a movie maker, director, whatever you want to call it. More screenwriting though, more into the writing part and editing, funny enough, editing and VFX. Did that, came out, and this was like 2008, and there were no jobs because of the massive financial crisis that had happened. So yeah, that was a problem. So I got a job in digital sales, and this was kind of the first step in my career to becoming a digital marketer. I'd also built up an SEO business on the side, which I later sell, which was the first business I ever sold. And I was only 27 when I first sold that business. So I was building that up on the side and doing sales for a startup, essentially. It was part of a bigger company. One of my friends, who I later befriended there, was actually doing the PPC stuff for this company, or pay-per-click on Google Ads, or what used to be called Google AdWords. And I was very curious in terms of the paid side and what all that entailed. So I kind of used to go to when we went out for coffee or for lunch, I would pick his brain and find out more about that. And I started to get really interested in paid search, because my brain has always been more like creative meets analytical, and it seemed like the perfect kind of fusion of those two things. I'm also like really keen on the stock market and investment, and it was kind of bidding on keywords and all that sort of stuff, and working within the algorithm in terms of Google Ads kind of felt a lot like that, and it was very interesting to me. So it was something I gravitated towards, wanted to know more about. So I left that job and then wanted to go get a job in an agency where I think I could upskill. When I went to get the job at an agency, my SEO experience, although was kind of beneficial, didn't really help. And they were like, if you want this job, you're gonna have to take a massive pay cut. So I went back down to $30,000, and this is a long time ago. Even back then, $30,000 wasn't a lot of money, especially when they cut my paycheck in half. But I kind of backed myself, and the one condition I had when joining, I said, look, if in 6 months I can hit all of these goals, and I laid them out, then I want to be back to what I was making before and then some. I managed to achieve that. And the greatest thing I did was actually take that job, because I was surrounded by so many intelligent people, so many smart people who were just guns in the PPC sphere and also SEO sphere too. And I'm just going out for lunch, going for beers, just talking to them and sitting with them. I learned more than I could have ever learned in an actual university setting or just doing courses online. So I think that it's really imperative that you realize you don't need to go to university to get a job in digital marketing. Although I will say this, that if you really want to go to uni, I probably wouldn't study something in the realms of marketing, because again, I don't know if it really help you unless you're really, really, really passionate about that. If you're looking to get more into digital marketing and something that kind of is related to that, I would probably say something in computer science, finance, business, something in analytics would definitely help. IT. I think these roles are kind of more intrinsically linked to the modern day digital marketing that people do. If you want to make the big dollars, where there's a lot of analytics involved, or large scale accounts. So I think that, if you really want to go to uni, I won't tell you not to do that, especially if you're really passionate about what you want to study, but it's probably not going to help you much with your digital marketing career. If you're super keen about digital marketing, I would even say, and you knew it and you're in high school now and you want to go do it, go build up something in your last year of high school, start a blog, learn all about that, do some courses on Udemy. I will actually link in the description below some of the best Udemy courses I think that are out there that will help you get a leg up in terms of, learning the ropes of digital marketing and figuring out what you want to do. Because one of the biggest things that people get confused about when they're first starting out in this journey is they just see digital marketing as this kind of like umbrella term, but you really want to specialize in something. That could be SEO, that could be content marketing, it could be PPC, which is what I did. It could be a number of different things, analytics, which is something else I got into really, really deeply. And also machine learning and things like that are starting to work their way into digital marketing as well. So no need for uni if you don't really want to do it. If you want to get into digital marketing, I would say treat it like a trade where, if you don't want to go to university, if you're not very academic by nature, then maybe start as early as high school doing some things on the side, like building blogs, building websites, getting traffic to these, doing courses on Udemy. Like I said, I'll link to those in the description below, and starting that way, and then getting a very low paying job. And I say go to an agency because that's probably where you get the most diverse talent. And those people you'll be sitting with for very long periods of time. The money's not great, I'll be honest, but so like with any trade, it's not great at the beginning, but I guarantee you one thing, after 3 years of doing that, by the time those guys that have come out of uni who've done marketing, who want to now come and get a job, you've already got 3 years ahead of them, and you're probably like making 3 times as much as well. So that's why I said if you're not very academic and you really are just super keen about going to digital marketing, then I would say just go straight into it. Probably don't go and do university. But in saying that, like I said, there are some really valuable courses, disciplines that you can study at university, like finance. Anything quantitative is really good. So, machine learning, computer science, which is probably one and the same, analytics, business, and finance and things like that. So yeah, that's probably what I recommend doing. So this brings me on to point number 2, and I must say that the salary for digital marketing is fantastic. And again, just to caveat that though, it depends on what discipline you want to double down in. Some disciplines within digital marketing pay a lot better than others. I would say that if you want to start making a lot of money, go into something like PPC, pay-per-click, or performance marketing. It's got many names. SEO is another one, content marketing, and the big one now is analytics and machine learning. So analytics and machine learning is something I got really into, and it really helped give me that edge in terms of getting or making more money. So, if you can do things that everyone else can do, but you can do these other cool things that kind of almost go into the sphere of computer science, then I think that you're going to be way ahead of the average digital marketer. So like I said, pick things, if you want to make a lot of money, that are a little bit more quantitative in nature. So like I said, pay-per-click, SEO is still really good. Analytics, pretty much those 3 are probably the best ones in terms of pay. If, however, I'm completely wrong and you have something that contradicts what I've just said, please mention it in the comments below, so it'll help out everybody. But I'm pretty sure that PPC, SEO, data analytics, probably the best 3 disciplines within digital marketing to make a lot of money. So I don't want to give an exact figure in terms of how much you can make in your career, because it's going to depend on a number of things. So the first thing I mentioned was what discipline you pick, but then also how old you are, how many years you've been doing it, and also where you are in the world. So if you're in India, it could be different to Australia, which could be different to the US, which could be different to the UK, et cetera, et cetera. I can give you a quick breakdown on kind of my sliding scale and how much I made. So within year 1 to about 3, I was on about 70K. So obviously started off really low and then made about 70,000 from there. In the next couple of years, got up to about 85,000. So that's what, about 4 or 5 years in. After that, I got a job at Microsoft, which is like my dream job, where I got paid up into the high 6 figures. And that was when I also started to incorporate some analytics and machine learning and some other things into that. So, because I was part of the insights team, so obviously those skill sets bumped me up a bit as well. And that's why I was saying it's so important. If you really want to make a lot of money, you've got to get good at numbers, and you should, go and study something in the quantitative space if you want to go and move into machine learning or something of that ilk. Like I said, I think this is one of the industries that is probably one of the highest paying when you don't have a degree. So, in terms, if you look at non-degree type roles, digital marketing is probably one of the most rewarding financially, I think, anyway. That's my opinion. Okay, so we're on to number 3 now. So the third reason why I think that it's such an awesome career is your ability to work remotely and to pretty much work from anywhere in the world. So since I've gone and done consulting or freelance now, because that's what I do, I have my own consulting business, I can work from anywhere in the world. I've actually gone on holidays and still managed to work while I'm on holidays. So it's really cool because you can kind of get that real work-life balance that everyone talks about, or become a digital nomad, if you've heard that term before. Doing this career definitely helps with that. The only other one I know that works out really well for remote working in terms of traveling and working at the same time is probably software engineering. But digital marketing is also up there. You can make a lot of money doing your own consulting business, and it just gives you that work-life balance. So like I said, it's that freedom to do whatever you want and to work from wherever you want. And I think the big thing is, since this whole situation happened and everyone's in lockdown or isolation, it doesn't really affect digital marketers because we don't really leave the office or the house much anyway. I used to work from home a lot anyway. So for me, it hasn't really impacted me. And funny enough, because I work in the e-com space or e-commerce space, a lot of my clients are from e-commerce. The situation that happened actually only bolstered their business. So they got even more busy and crazy busy. I think I've made more money during this whole situation than before. So I think it's probably one of the most problem-resistant careers you could choose. And also, like I said, lots of freedom. When all this is over, you can go travel, you can become a digital nomad, and you can still do all of your work for your clients and be in Bali or Thailand or somewhere else, chilling on a beach, doing whatever you want. Let's talk about the fourth reason why I think digital marketing is such an awesome career. It's because you get to play with other people's money and learn on other people's money. So what I mean by that is not with your clients. You should never do it with your smaller tier clients. But when you go out in the world and you get a job, and especially if it's an agency, you'll get like big budgets to play with. And obviously you're not going to get that off the bat. You're going to have to learn a bit before you get those. In Australia, I was dealing with some clients that were spending over $1 million a month on things like Google ads and YouTube and Facebook ads. So I had to learn how to manage that money. And then there was other ones where, I'd get $250,000 and they'd want, multiple $1 million out of that in terms of revenue. So I'd have to learn how to scale their campaigns. And I think this is the difference between someone who's kind of good at Facebook and sort of like a Facebook gun, or even a Google ads person, a Google ads gun, is someone who can scale a campaign from something like $200,000 to multiple $1 million. So you'll learn a lot by spending other people's money in terms of what works, what doesn't work, because you're going to have to do it anyway. You're going to have to learn. Sometimes you'll make mistakes, and that's just going to happen. Everyone knows that. So then you can take those learnings and use it to create your own businesses. So side hustles, websites, startup, whatever it might be. You can use that knowledge and then apply it to your own stuff. Or if you go off and do your freelance work or consulting work, you can do it for your smaller tier clients that you're going to get at the very beginning as well. Okay, number 5 is a really quick one. Like I said, it is creative meets analytical. That's what I think digital marketing is, depending on the discipline that you're kind of going for as well. So if it's something like pay per click, you still get the analytical side, which is all the quant stuff, all the numbers, but you get to do some things like, especially if you're doing YouTube ads, work out what creative works, have a say in that as well sometimes, depending on where you are. If it's an agency, probably less likely. If you're in-house, you might even be coming up with the whole strategy, even being in when they're filming it. So, a YouTube ad is very much like a TV commercial, but you'll also be writing a lot of copy. So copywriting is one of the first main skills that I learned, and is super, super important. And it's probably one of the hardest things to do when you're running those little Google ads things to get people, interested in clicking on those ads, then copywriting skills are imperative, and you have to know how to do that. Like I said, so one of the first things that I recommend doing as a digital marketing person is go learn copywriting, because depending on what you're doing, or actually it doesn't really matter what you're doing in terms of disciplines for digital marketing, copywriting is going to be super, super important. So go and learn that skill. It's probably the best tip I can give you. There's a whole bunch of books and stuff. I might even cover a whole video on copywriting as well as we go along. But I'll put some resources in the description below so you can get started on that. But like I was saying, copywriting is super important, but it's also very creative. And you get to mix that with all the quant stuff. And even on Facebook, where I think is even more kind of like creative meets analytical, where you can, even come down to creating the images or the videos, writing that long form copy, and then mixing that with targeting and analytics and stuff like that. So I think that the field of digital marketing is awesome, because if you're kind of a mix between the analytical and the creative, then this is a perfect career choice for you. The number 6, I've kind of mentioned already. It's great because doing digital marketing will help you with your side hustle, will help you build up your businesses when you go to go out on your own and do your own freelancing or consulting. It will help you because all the things you learn working in a job, which I'm hoping you're going to go do before you start to go out on your own, it'll definitely help in terms of not just understanding digital marketing, but how a business runs as well. So I think that this really helps when you want to go and do your more entrepreneurial pursuits. A lot of people in digital marketing are very entrepreneurial by nature, so I think this just makes sense. So if you're going to go out on your own, then I think having a digital marketing career is awesome, because you're going to learn a stack of stuff in those 2 to 3 to 4 years of working in a company or an agency that you can then go and apply to your own business or side hustle or startup or whatever it might be that you want to do for yourself. So yeah, I recommend that you go get a job in digital marketing. Number 7, I think that the great thing about digital marketing is if you love to learn, and you should if you're in digital marketing, because it changes so rapidly in terms of pretty much every niche within inside digital marketing, then if you're a lifetime learner and you love to learn, then this is a great industry, because you're constantly going to be learning. Every day I am learning something new, depending on, I've been doing this for over 12 years now, and I would never consider myself a full-blown expert, because something can change tomorrow. A new platform comes up, an algorithm change in Facebook, something changes, Google releases a new update in their algorithm. So all the stuff that used to work for SEO doesn't work anymore. It's going to keep you on your toes. But if you like to learn, and like I said, if you really want to get into digital marketing, you're going to have to be someone who likes to learn, then this is the kind of career for you. Cool. Number 8. So the next thing I'll talk about is where you might want to go after you've done the agency thing and the company thing. If you're not ready to go and start your own business, you might want to move into the intrapreneurial space. So there's entrepreneurs that work for themselves, entrepreneurs work for companies, and more than likely it'll be within a startup. I am addicted to startup culture. I love startups. I have been obsessed with the success stories, like the Facebook story, Instagram story, even as recent like the TikTok, how that all got founded. Very interesting. I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to that stuff, and I love working within that space and being around startup people. So if you're in digital marketing, the next best step, and this is what I said, if you are wanting to get into the quant space and learn about computer science, machine learning, or analytics, then becoming a growth person. So some people call this growth marketing. I don't really like that term, or growth hacking. I don't like it. I just like to call it growth. So growth people, where you're more of a T-shaped marketer. So where you have more of it's a diverse skill set. So you'll have things that you're kind of good at up on the top, and then there's 2 things you go really deep on that kind of like your bread and butter. But I think the one thing that defines every growth marketer, see there I go, growth person, is the ability to understand data. Someone who's more technical. So I always say they're like a technical marketer. Some people call them full stack marketers, but that term's a bit loose as well. I seem to like technical. Technical assumes that you know something. You know how to code. You know how to read numbers. You're more analytical. You're just more in tune to quant stuff. So if you want to get into growth, I would say that's the next logical step in terms of going from digital marketing and not going into your own business, then I would say that's a really cool career choice as well. Because the great thing about getting into a startup, especially if you go into early stage startup, is you get early shares in the company. And then there's been a lot of success stories where, that startup gets sold, and then pretty much all the founding team, which might be 8 to 10 people, become millionaires overnight. So this is another way to, if you don't want to start your own business and become an entrepreneur, then a lot of people who are intrapreneurs, who like to work with inside a company, actually get into the whole startup space, and they get rich that way by moving into a startup, growing the startup, being part of the founding team, and making a shit ton of money essentially. That's pretty much it. That's my 8 reasons why I think digital marketing is such an awesome career choice. If any of this resonates with you, I recommend starting a journey, checking it out, just going to watch some YouTube videos. So like I said, I'll put some resources in the description below, which will help you kind of get started on your digital marketing journey. Just knowing where to get started, like knowing where to start from, is super important and probably the first big step you need to take. In the next video, I'm going to talk about what skills should be required as a digital marketer. What should you know? Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the salary as well. Now, if you've got some questions around digital marketing and you're kind of wanting to get into the space, but you're a little confused, you've had a look around and no one's answered your questions properly, or not really to your standard, like you're still confused, put it in the comments below. I'll do a whole Q&A video in the next couple of weeks. So if you have a burning question that you want me to answer, put it in the comments below, or go and find me on Quora. I'll have my link there as well. You can hit me up, send me a DM, and I will answer all of your questions. So thanks so much for hanging around to the end of the video. My name is Andrew, aka The Marketing Chap. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.